Hi, I'm Michelle Miller, and this is The Uplift. We have a great show for you and a great cast of characters, including these. A secret Santa who travels the country to surprise strangers and spread Christmas joy. An NFL player with aspirations off the field. What passion is he pursuing when he's not playing football? We'll tell you. Plus, a man who turns his tiny town population 2 into a magical merry wonderland during the holidays. All of that and more heartwarming news. You're watching The Uplift. Welcome to The Uplift, everybody, the show that lifts you up at least the next 30 minutes. We begin with a man who considers himself a secret Santa to people in need. Steve Hartman introduces us to the caring stranger who travels the country to give people gifts and hope.
Some people were skeptical at first of the stranger who rolled into flood-ravaged Avery County, North Carolina this week, claiming to be some kind of Santa.
You don't have a beard.
No.
Where's your reindeer?
Reindeer?
Yet he persisted,
You live around here?
approaching people in parking lots and gas stations, and even motel rooms where those displaced by Hurricane Helene are still sheltering
How are you?
3 months after the storm.
You probably don't know me.
No.
How could she? He is secret Santa.
Why did you want to come here?
I think when people go through tragedy, they can lose their house, all their belongings. But what they can't lose is hope. And maybe we can give a little hope. 300 Secret Santa
Oh
dollars.
my gosh.
Every year, around the holidays,
I need this so bad.
Did that help?
this anonymous wealthy businessman travels the country.
You're welcome.
He gives away about $100,000 worth of $100 bills to both random strangers
Are you kidding?
and people he seeks out, knowing their need.
400 of these Secret Santa dollars.
Thank you.
Jamie Gwynn was living here with his wife Melissa when a mudslide ripped the garage off their house.
I grabbed a hold of her and I said, well, at least we got each other. We can fix the house. And it couldn't have been 10 men inside her. And I remember just getting crushed.
A second mudslide took the whole house and Melissa.
You haven't really lost her, because she's with you. And she's smiling down on you right now.
And it's those words of comfort, the hugs,
God bless you.
and the hope that really seem to move people much more than the money itself.
That's the gift.
That's the gift, that you haven't been forgotten about, that we do know you're there, and we do care.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Secret Santa always says that kindness is the bridge between all people, a bridge that can't be burned, bombed, or washed away in a flood. Always there, just waiting for us to cross.
Maybe just make your Christmas just a little bit better.
Steve Hartman, on the road in Avery County, North Carolina.
Merry Christmas.
We now introduce you to a grandfather and second grade math teacher who also moonlights as an Instagram model. Here's Janet Shamlian.
By day, Irvin Randall is a second grade math teacher in Houston. A grandfather married almost 4 decades. But after school, you can often find him here.
Look sideways. Boom. Nice. Do that one more time.
On the city's downtown streets, followed by a camera, dressed to the nines, and looking like a 10.
I've been dressing like this all my life. This is nothing new.
So you started taking pictures of yourself because you thought, man, I'm a good dresser?
Yes, I just wanted to show everybody how I dress, yes.
20 or 30 likes became 1,000 per post, and then 30,000.
How many followers?
Instagram is about 1.1 million.
TikTok?
TikTok is about 1.7 million.
The 63-year-old does know how to turn it on for the camera.
Something in me turns on, and I have a swagger in me that comes out like a beast.
He's also a skilled shopper.
This is my closet.
Randall's side hustle, he earns money from brands for wearing their products, allows him to indulge his love of clothes, shoes, and especially hats.
What is with the hats?
I think it just dignifies a man. It shows that you're a gentleman.
He's got almost 100.
Do you make more money from teaching second grade in Houston, Texas, or from social media?
Social media.
by a factor of?
Oh my God, if I told you, you'll fall out, so I'm not going to tell you.
Randall has spread that wealth with a group of equally stylish men. They call themselves the Silver Fox Squad, and they make appearances at charity events like fashion shows. It's not the only group he's voguing for, keenly aware of and embracing being a role model for his kids.
They do watch me carefully. You know, they watch me. Hey, Mr. Randall, are those some new tennis shoes you got on?
Do they?
Oh, yeah. Is that a new watch? I like that watch. You know, and you're supposed to be watching me teach you something, but you're watching other things. So they watch me very carefully.
2, 1, and go for it.
If looks could kill, Irvin Randall's second act
That's a wrap.
might just be illegal. I'm Janet Shamlian in Houston.
Coming up, we meet another man who has 2 jobs. He's an NFL player and a recording artist. His story coming up. You'd think making it into the NFL would be enough for anyone, but Marcus Jones of the Patriots has another passion. Dana Jacobson shows us how this pro athlete is pursuing 2 dreams.
Patriots cornerback Marcus Jones knows how to turn up the volume.
Defense is where my heart is, where it's at. I would rather give the hit than get hit.
That I appreciate, yeah. The 26-year-old played just 17 games between his rookie and sophomore seasons due to injury. But he also managed to join Hall of Famer Deion Sanders as the only 2 players in the Super Bowl era to score touchdowns of 40 yards or more on offense, defense, and special teams. His versatility and adaptability run deep.
Your dad was in the Army.
Yes.
How often were you moving?
So I was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Then I went from Baton Rouge to Dayton, Ohio. Dayton, Ohio, back to Baton Rouge. Then Baton Rouge to Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Fort Campbell, Kentucky to Enterprise, Alabama. So.
And how old were you by the time you got to Enterprise, Alabama?
So I was in 8th grade. Wow. Yeah.
Jones says growing up, basketball and football helped him fit in. But there was something else he wanted to tackle.
When did music first kind of come into your life?
I'll probably say around 6 years old. My dad had MPCs, everything that you could think of at the house, and it's a big hobby that he always had. Eventually, I just grasped toward it, because I was making beats, but there was no vocals on it. So I was like, man, if I learn how to record myself, maybe I can keep going from here. This is where the so-called magic happens.
But I'm gonna make it right.
Jones showed us the studio where he writes, sings, and produces today.
Compare yourself now doing something like this to when you were messing around with your dad's stuff and just starting.
Yeah, it's nowhere near. Like, it's like 2 different worlds.
This is where his song, Make It Right, was born.
I won't stop till I'm satisfied.
It later reached the 9th spot on one of the UK's commercial pop charts.
I ended up taking some of the stems out of the main sample and then putting the drums.
That drum comes in,
yeah.
What a difference just that change.
Yeah, and it's all about the start too. The way I was thinking about it, it started off slow, then drums.
How do you teach a kid to find their voice in doing music like this?
Yeah, the main thing that I would say is listen to your favorite artists. Don't rush the moment. Most of the time, kids would end up feeling like, oh, I can't do this because they don't write songs fast. Like, every song is not written fast. And I want them to know just to take their time and just have fun with the process.
Back on the field.
What do you love about being able to have these 2 sides of you?
Yeah, I love it from the fact of just being able to, you know, have differences of like, all right, maybe I want to be vulnerable, and I can be vulnerable through making music. And also, whenever it comes down to the football side, it's like, okay, I can turn on this switch and then also be the tough guy, you know, and also have a great time with playing the game that I've loved since I've been little.
Are you listening to your music when you come out?
Nah.
We asked Jones which Marcus his family was initially betting on, Marcus the artist or the football player.
For sure, the football player. I would definitely say that one.
Did they doubt some of the music for a little while?
I think they might have doubted it just a little bit, you know, but they also love me at the same time, so maybe that overweighted a little bit. But
I'm glad you have this really hard other career to fall back on, because football will work.
I'm Dana Jacobson, Foxborough, Massachusetts.
Coming up, we take you to the Center for Discovery in New York, where teens and adults with autism are welcome to live and thrive. The Center for Discovery north of New York City is a place where teens and adults with autism get the support they need inside a happy home. Here's Dr. John LaPook.
Tommy Bove is a 20-year-old resident at the Center for Discovery in Monticello, New York, for people with autism and other complex conditions. Like others at the center, Tommy receives care and therapy and works on the campus farm. Tommy is autistic, nonverbal, and clearly thriving. Scott and Kelly Bove are Tommy's parents. Courtney is his 22-year-old sister.
Oh, this is like the best place for him.
This is the best thing that's ever happened to him, honestly.
Tommy has trouble sitting still,
years,
and throughout the
changes
interview,
that
kept
we've
the
seen
family on their toes.
Come on. All right, buddy. Yeah.
Tommy was a teenager when the pandemic hit.
COVID, the pandemic, he was still living with us at the time. He was heavy then. Before then, we were just giving in to everything at that point.
Just whatever he wanted in terms of whatever food.
Yeah.
He topped out at 360 pounds.
Get the tomatoes, bring them over there, put them in.
And after 3 years on a wait list, Tommy finally got a spot at the Center for Discovery.
This has all been a lot for you and your family.
I mean, everyone has things, though.
There are things, and then there are things.
Yeah.
This is a thing.
It's a lifelong thing. You know, it doesn't go away. It's always there. It's like always there, the worry.
We're true to our mission in that we care for people with really complex disabilities.
Dr. Teresa Hamlin is the CEO of the center. She has worked there for more than 4 decades.
When parents come here, what's the description you give them of the program?
It's a program that's going to look at your whole child, that's going to appreciate them from the inside out and outside in, that we have a tremendous team here and they're part of that team.
Hamlin oversees 1,700 staff across multiple programs. All in, the center services 1,200 people, including 164 younger residents like Tommy, nearly 200 day students, 181 adults who live on campus, and hundreds of others who participate in programs. Hamlin says their center is unique.
Do you know that there are not other programs across the country where they're doing something similar?
There really aren't. I think that so many people see autism as a behavioral problem.
Right.
And so the treatment is behavioral therapy. And we've missed the boat.
Keep pushing, keep pushing.
There's a lot more that we need to understand and a lot more that we need to do here in order to help these kids.
The backbone of the center includes healthy food, sleep, activity, healthcare, and a soothing environment.
How are you guys doing? How's the day going?
Jennifer Frank leads the Nourishing Arts program. It includes 35 chefs and their farm-to-table, or as the center calls it, seed-to-belly program. Residents eat whole foods, much of it grown on the grounds. Ultra-processed foods are banned.
Food has amazing power. It has the power to completely support your health or to totally undermine it.
What about outcomes?
We're seeing amazing results in the health of the kids. Our obesity rate, we have about a 60% rate of ideal body weight.
Frank says adults at the Center for Discovery also have much lower rates of high blood pressure and diabetes than the general public.
So you're seeing across the board
Across the board. So I just think, imagine if we can do this for some of the most medically complex individuals there are. Imagine what that means for you and I.
The Boves say Tommy's progress has been amazing.
So you're actually noticing not only weight change and physical change, but behavioral change.
Well, he's like dressing himself too, which we always just did it, honestly.
So things that most people take for granted, for you, him doing them.
Huge. Yeah. It was huge. Like, we're in shock.
I don't want to imply that the program here fixes everything, right? These kids still do have a disorder
Oh, absolutely.
that they will have forever, right?
Yeah, we don't cure the autism, but we help kids function much better so they can interact, so they can have friendships, so that they can have a sense of normalcy, whatever that is for themselves and for their family. But yeah, we're not curing the disorder.
The state disability program covers room and board for New York residents like Tommy. But for those out of state, the annual cost is more than $100,000. Tommy will age out of the pediatric program when he reaches 22.
What happens when he leaves here?
That's what causes stress.
Adult slots here open only rarely. So in about 18 months, Tommy will likely have to find a different residential center and adjust to new surroundings.
And of course, you're thinking about the future.
Yes.
Yeah. What's that thinking like?
For a few years ago, I ended up in a hospital, and it was, what happens if something happens,
Yeah.
Is relief when he came in here, was relief saying, okay, no, the state's gonna take care of him now, the school will take care of him. It's like, it's very hard. Squeeze tight, squeeze her, squeeze her.
Give me another hug.
Give her a hug.
Tommy's sister Courtney also feels the weight of responsibility.
I'm going to be in charge of him one day, so I always have to keep that in the back of my mind for whatever happens.
Is there, in the future, some thought that he might end up living physically with you?
I'd say so.
You shook your heads no, right?
I don't expect her to.
No.
It's too much. Like, she's 22.
She's gonna have her own life.
She's gonna have her own life, and she doesn't have to take care of him.
Those worries and discussions are echoed in families across the country as parents ask themselves, what happens when we're not around?
Coming up, visit the tiny South Dakota town that usually has just 2 residents. Yes, just 2, but around Christmas time, it comes alive with people and joy. You might not believe it, but there is a town in South Dakota with a population of 2 and just 1 general store. It becomes merrier during the holidays every year thanks to Mike Peterson, who transforms the shop into a Christmas destination. He talked to David Begnaud.
Nestled in Nora, South Dakota, population 2, sits a defunct general store that comes alive once a year. At Christmas.
Second verse.
Nearly 40 years ago, Mike Pedersen, one of the 2 people who lives here, purchased this building and fulfilled a lifelong dream to restore a pipe organ.
Now what am I going to do with it? I'm a bachelor. I don't have a wife and kids to come down and listen to Dad serenade them.
So Mike put an ad in the local paper, inviting people to join him in singing Christmas carols while he played the newly rebuilt organ.
They looked at me like, yeah, you goofy guy. Who's going to do that? Well, the rest is history.
From nearby towns across South Dakota to neighboring states like Minnesota, Nebraska, and Iowa,
Welcome to Nora.
tens of thousands of people have joined Mike to share the joy of holiday music.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all.
Mike and his pipe organ have performed every Christmas here for the past 35 years. And thanks to Dylan Munson, whose parents first brought him and his brothers here to the Nora store back in 2015, we can take you back in time. You see, after those early years of coming to the Nora store Christmas with his family, Dylan went on to South Dakota State University and majored in broadcast journalism. And guess what he covered as his college assignment?
You've probably never heard of the town of Nora, South Dakota, but around Christmas time, something magical happens. Since 1989, Mike Peterson has been hosting what has come to be known as Nora Christmas. And it all started with an organ.
So I told my buddies later when they come back to finish putting the organ in there, I says, hey guys, let's hurry up, get this thing done. They go, what's the hurry? We got all winter. No, I said, we don't. I said, I want to put an ad in the paper and see if anybody would come to Nora and sing Christmas carols with me. Well, they looked at me like I was absolutely goofy. Yeah. Last year we had around 3,500 people come through those doors to celebrate the reason for the season.
This is Christmas,
And it was all out of tune.
the way I grew up. It's like coming home.
Musicians come from all around, and visitors simply shout out a song from the book, and away they go.
81! I have been humbled lately to realize how many people's lives have been touched by it. And it's not me that touches their lives, I'm just the caretaker. But when the room fills up with people, you get a sense of unconditional love. Don't you feel that, people, when you're here? The best way to describe Nora Christmas is the fact that it's kind of like meeting me. It's something you can't describe, it's just something you have to experience. So Merry Christmas.
Among those who keep coming back year after year is Dylan's dad, Rob, who first emailed our Dear David team about this gem of a story in the heart of America.
I've told people, I said, when you come here, it's like stepping into a Norman Rockwell picture. Just everything, the small little town, the country store, the potbelly stove, just everything that's here is just a time that we don't have anymore.
The Nora store hasn't sold a single item since 1962. But Mike's on a mission to preserve this historic building with a few donations and his time. Because there's no Nora Christmas without Mike.
Frosty the Snowman.
It's why he postponed his much-needed hip replacement surgery until after Christmas. He wanted to again serve that hot apple cider to the carolers, who delivered the sweetest of surprises. No, not the treats. Their presence in this town of two.
And then I have what they call open keyboard. I let anybody come and play. And I get volunteers to come up. Some have been exceptional, some you've just, well, you kind of hope they give it up, you know.
Well, Mike, here's hoping you never give it up.
Well, I said, by God's grace, as long as I'm living at Nora, I'll do this.
And that's our show. I hope this news brightened your day and lifted you up. See ya.